We start off with Tom Wilson. Mr. Wilson. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Council President Shogan and council members. My name is Tom Wilson. My family owns the property in the 1300 block of West 2nd Avenue between Adams and Cedar Street. And among our tenants are 3 car dealerships, the Volvo dealership, the Jaguar dealership, and the Land Rover dealership, as well as tin can nonprofit offices and the little taco Tumbras restaurant there. I'm here to talk about the really devastating business conditions that exist today along 2nd Avenue, along our downtown auto row. If you haven't been down there in the last few days or last week, I'd suggest that you go home that way, or come down tomorrow as you're on your way to work. Heaven forbid, don't take a bike or try to walk through there. It's a disaster area. And if you go down that street and you look into those storefronts, and you can have an imagine trying to stay in business down there right now. And this is projected to go on for 3 or 4 months. It was a very poorly planned project in the way it's being executed, and it's not how we were told it was going to be when we came to the meetings last March. They said at that time it was going to be done in segments, and they'd have as little disruption to the businesses as possible. Instead, they've dug a ditch for 12 blocks long, the entire span of 2nd Avenue from Division to Maple, and it's virtually impossible for customers to get in and out of those businesses on either side of the street. In addition to that, they've closed off all of the side streets. So even to come down 3rd Avenue to go back around to 2nd, or to walk or try to take your car to those businesses, especially the auto dealerships, it's not happening. The dealers have taken all their cars out of the showrooms. Can you imagine that? That's like taking all the merchandise out of Macy's or Nordstrom's. They can't get the cars in and out over the 6-inch to 12-inch curbs that are there. Take away having a customer in a new Volvo or a new Jaguar try to get down those streets with the humps and bumps and holes and try to get in and out for service. So the service business has gone away. Now those particular businesses have had a hard time already in the last few years. We've had a number of them go broke. We've had a number of them move out of Spokane. So this is not the time to be kicking those businesses in the shins. We've got to have people in the city take a look at what's happening there and find a way to help mitigate those circumstances. The little taco restaurant's gone from having 50 people for lunch to 5. They're not going to make it. They're going to make it through your construction project. Why do I care? Of course, they pay rent to me, and I turn and pay the property taxes to you. But it's a devastating thing for all those small businesses along there. So we know at this point from what's happened, it was very poorly planned. It should have been done in segments. It should have been done so access was maintained to those businesses. But in my 3 minutes, I don't want to spend all the time complaining. I'd like to make some suggestions. And first of all, I will tell you that every city employee that I've talked to and every contract person along there has been the nicest person in the world. The people aren't the problem here. This was just poorly planned and executed by either the contractor or whoever is supervising the contractor. So here's some things that I think have to be done right away. First of all, the roads have to be opened up except when there's active construction. In other words, the road grader might be down here for 10 minutes, then he's down in the next block for 10 minutes, and down 2 blocks later for 10 minutes. It's not being done in a cohesive manner so that those streets can be opened up as much as possible so customers can get in there. The second thing is the side streets are all closed. They're all marked no parking. The parking meter heads, of course, have all been taken off. And so even when there's nobody working there, the customers can't get to those businesses. You just completely shut them off. The next thing you can possibly do is put up some signs that say businesses open, so it doesn't really look like the war zone it is when you drive through there. They are doing a good job of putting water on the street, but that makes mud. That splashes all over the sidewalks and gravel. So let's clean up the sidewalks. Whether you're sending labor crews down there to sweep them off or something, it's just a disaster. And finally, you have to find some way to step up the speed of construction. To have this last for 4 months into winter is just impossible. There's no reason they can't work evenings. It's good work weather. Let's get it done. Have them work Saturdays. You're going to have some offsetting costs that you might not recognize to help pay for overhead, for higher overtime. But you're losing a lot of sales tax revenue. You're losing a lot of employment tax revenue. That's totally unnecessary. So that's my plea to you, is to come help the businesses down there, and take a good look at the automotive district down there. It's been having a real hard time, and we don't want to lose those businesses out to Spokane Valley and out to Liberty Lake because we can't take care of them here in downtown Auto Row. They contribute, I looked up on the website for Department of Revenue, they contribute about $5 million a year in sales tax revenue alone, not counting B&O or employment. There's probably a couple hundred of family wage jobs in those businesses along that 10, 12 blocks, and they don't need to be kicked in the shins like this.
Well, I want you to know, I drove that stretch that you're talking about Sunday. Why don't you, if you want to spend an extra 5 minutes, wait for me outside? Wait for me outside. I want to meet with you and see if we can set up some kind of a meeting. I'm not sure what can be done. I've seen this, though. I had an office in Indiana, and it was a war zone. We survived because people had access from the back. There were businesses that didn't survive. So, I mean, this isn't a new challenge, but that doesn't make any difference for you. So I'd like to meet with you after our meeting and
Happy to do so.
see what, maybe we can do something. Okay?
Thank you.